existing contracts. We will expose the country to very serious penalties. So already the contracts that have already been awarded will continue. Although if it was possible, the ones that are almost being awarded, to be awarded the same contractors but through conventional means to save us, because if we continue this way, in the year 2027, and Honorable Kimani knows this because he was on the budget committee, by 2027 we may not have money in the road maintenance levy to finance more roads or maintain roads. Annuity program, 2-3 people, contractors, will have taken the entire money. Just keep it in your mind that we did 91 kilometers in using 28 billion. The last thing is Honorable Junet. I think I mentioned this when you had stepped out a little, that the Kenya Ports Authority...
He hadn't stepped out, he came late.
Mr. Chair, you know, Mr. Chair, I cannot jeopardize my own approval. So I have to look for a more friendly language to say this. But Mr. Speaker, the Port of Mombasa has already started processes of dealing with, the story of MV Uhuru and the transport of goods from the Port of Mombasa. Later, even outside this committee, we'll discuss matters of the railway going to Kisumu to ensure that we spur Kisumu as a regional hub for matters of transport. I talked about Kendu Bay, Homa Bay, and all those local transport by the Kenya Ports Authority.
Murkomen, I'll ask you 2 questions. Number 1, you've talked about everything except discipline on our roads. Michuki restored sanity on our roads in less than 2 months. Everybody was obeying traffic signs, everybody was orderly, everybody was respectful. What are you going to do about that? Number 2, road signage everywhere in this country is vandalized. You put road signage, you put embankments, they're all vandalized within no time. Can you consider looking for materials for signage and embankment that are not vulnerable to scrap metal dealers, because they're the ones who keep vandalizing these materials? And many accidents are caused because of lack of signage and embankment. And lastly, the point Koech raised. You have to bring some affirmative action to local contractors. A local contractor competing with a foreigner is allowed to bring in construction equipment duty-free, is given a maram pit to mine maram for free, is given a quarry to quarry materials for free, and is exempted sometimes from even VAT. And those foreigners are supposed to compete with local contractors for the same jobs. The local contractors go to the local bank, borrow money, buy trucks, pay duty on them, hire maram pits, pay for them, look for quarries, pay for them. How can they compete? What affirmative action do you have for local contractors?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the Michuki rules, listening to Professor Kindiki, my friend, and my teacher yesterday, I think we will have more collaboration between the Interior Ministry and our Transport Ministry, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the first thing, if you heard me right, we want to deploy the transport integrated management system, which otherwise also labeled by Kenya Urban Roads as intelligent transport system. Okay, Mr. Speaker, if we deploy that technology, we don't need to do the analog way of Michuki. We don't need to see policemen running, people, driving. We just tell you, continue your bad manners. Then we benefit from it. If we continue punishing you, punishing you today, punishing you tomorrow, punishing you the next day, that will be a deterrent, Mr. Speaker. And I believe that the resources that we get from these people can now be deployed to doing the road signage, supporting our traffic police, which is underfunded, ensuring that we have more e-technology expanded in the rest of the country. So I am going to come back to National Assembly and Parliament for that reason with a clear proposal on how to roll out the integrated transport system in the city of Nairobi to start with. And if we put these cameras in all corners, Mr. Speaker, we will make sure that we will catch all the offenders, Mr. Speaker, and take advantage of their bad manners to build this nation. And I am sure in less than 2 or 3 years there will be deterrent. So I will be working in silence, Mr. Speaker, because the times require one to work in silence. There was a time of Michuki, you had to shout. But this time round, Mr. Speaker, with technology, you don't need to shout. You just make sure that you catch your offender, you send the bill to him, you make his insurance extremely expensive. In fact, if you continue being a serial offender, to reach a stage where you will abandon your car because the insurance is more expensive than the car itself. And I think that will be a deterrent. I have told, and this is something we'll work together with other departments. On the affirmative action, part of the affirmative action is to ensure below 1 billion goes to Kenyan citizens. Already that will ensure that they are being paid. The other thing is to ensure that you prioritize Kenyan citizens when we are paying the pending bills. Because again, they are the ones being auctioned. The people are committing suicide. People are, families are breaking up because of pending bills. We'll ensure that we start with them to make sure that their pending bills are paid. On the issue of material, it is true. When the government declared a ban on sale of scrap metal, there was a lull for some time. In fact, the Kenya Railway people told me that at least their metallic scrap metals were safe. But as soon as that was lifted, we face also another challenge. And Mr. Speaker, I will invite professors in university and inventors, Mr. Speaker, and Kenyans who are watching me, young Kenyans who are watching me from across the country, should think about this as one way of inventing something that they can be able to make a living and protect our roads with proper road signage without really being stolen by scrap metal. Although if we deploy the cameras very well, with continuous active e-police in the command center, we will be able to identify directly, Mr. Speaker, with clarity that it is so-and-so who is coming, it's this time of the hour, and possibly, like the way we've deterred a lot of crime because of the cameras in Nairobi City, this can be also one of the solutions to make sure that people are not vandalizing our road signage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Your last 3 minutes, tell us your wish.
Mr. Speaker, my first wish is to say, let me say this, that I hope the committee will find it in its entire wisdom, collectively and individually, right to approve me to this docket. I have been a member of Parliament. I understand the issues that affect the citizens of Kenya. I am available and ready to interact with colleagues and to interact with the people of Kenya in every part of this country and solve problems that the people of Kenya are facing without really waiting, Mr. Speaker, to be visited in my office. My office will make sure that it's devolved as per the expectations of the Constitution and reach out to all parts of the country. I will apply principles of equity, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that marginalized areas and areas left behind are carried along. And you know that, Mr. Speaker, because when we were in Senate, you saw my efforts to protect the counties, the marginalized counties in the county allocation revenue formula, even when their members of Parliament were not ready to protect themselves. And so, Mr. Speaker, I will go out of my way to do my job diligently. And I hope after my tour of duty in this position, if approved, Mr. Speaker, is over, Kenyans will look back and say there lived a more serious, more committed public servant who was willing compassionately to solve problems that are bedeviling the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the time you gave me. I think this is the beginning of our interaction. I hope in the future we will be able to have more interaction with members of parliament as a representative of the people, members, county council of governors, and other entities that work on matters roads, to make sure that we solve the problems that are bedeviling our transport and infrastructure docket. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you, thank the appointing authority, and thank, without forgetting, Mr. Speaker, and more importantly, the people of Elgeyo Marakwet County, without whom, Mr. Speaker, I would never be who I am, because they are the ones who took care of me, protected me, elected me, and now I have an opportunity given by the President to serve the people of Kenya. I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Murkomen. Before I release you, you will furnish our clerk and her team a copy of the judgment that you made reference to, the one that exonerated your law firm. Once you do that, you are released to go to your other national duties. Members, I'll give you 5 minutes to stretch. You will resume at 11:21.